You might remember 18 months ago we were looking at a plant called Camellia Marge Miller. Now, my personal opinion is that this is the best camellia variety ever produced anywhere in the world. Now, I know that is a ridiculously big statement, but the plant itself is a gorgeous ground cover. If you plant it on an embankment, it will run down the bank, cover the whole bank, and it will look sensational. It has lovely soft to mid-pink flowers over many months of the year. It's unbelievably hardy. But when we looked at it 18 months ago, I tried something new. I thought, what happens if you graft it on top of a Sasanqua Camellia to come down as a weeping standard? And already I'm thinking this may be simply the best weeping standard that you could ever produce. Now here we are. This is 18 months. This is the exact plant, or one of the plants, that we grafted on the program 18 months ago. Now look at it. It's grafted up there, remember, right at the very top. And look at the growth starting to come. Within the first year, one of these shoots was down to effectively ground level being the top of the pot there, and it's now starting to thicken up. This plant will produce a complete cylinder of growth just coming down. And if you put it in the ground, it would then run out as a ground cover as well, and then produce those heart-stoppingly beautiful flowers through winter, or through autumn, winter, and even a little bit into spring. Isn't it absolutely divine? Now, if you're wondering where it goes from there, well, we've got another one over here. This one is about 2.5 years old. And although it hasn't come down as much, it's certainly coming down, but look at the wonderful growth starting to come on the top of it. And you might notice, unlike many of these weeping standard plants, it holds its foliage up the top. It doesn't get thin at the top and just thick down here. One very important tip here is that these plants only grow down. So you've got to graft them as tall as you can to get the dramatic and wonderful effect. Grafting them up there on a stepladder, as I did, is really quite critically important, because if you did start off by grafting it down here, well, that's as tall as it'll ever grow and it'll never look wonderful. You really need to get up as high as you possibly can. This really is a wonderful plant. Now, if you're buying something like this, you could well be paying a few $100s, so it's not going to be a cheap plant to buy. But you can buy your own camellia using the technique that we did, a Sasanqua Camellia, of course. You can graft something like that, and all you've really got to buy is just a Marge Miller that's in an ordinary pot. But a wonderful thing, and I can't tell you how satisfying it is. Look, it's an ego thing, I grant you. But it is so satisfying to stand back here, look at this and say, I grafted that myself. And with the technique that we've got, and you can write in for the fact sheet, you can graft one just like that. Put it in a pot or put it out in your garden, and I guarantee you nobody will walk past in the street when that's in flower without stopping to say, my goodness, that's wonderful. And you can say, yeah, I grafted it myself.